Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, RC fans. Racing 393. And this is, for me, my second round in the Wycombe Radio Control Car Club LMP12 summer season. So in this video, we quickly go over some bits and pieces that we did in the last meeting and some sort of repair work that we needed to do because we had some problems with the front of the car. Also, right off the bat, on the next recording, I was so tired. I was such a busy weekend working because I've got another job. If you don't know, I'm a driving instructor by trade, but I do other types of instructing around supercar and race car experience. So I've just been busy. So when you hear me talking. I listened to it through. I can't even speak now, and I'm not selling it very well. But even I nearly fell asleep. So bear with me. It's just that I was tired. In fact, that was recorded earlier on the weekend, sort of a day or two ago. I think it was yesterday. And yeah, so yeah, so the video is just basically going over remedial repairs and adjustments, setting the car back up to fairly stock, but I've got a bit more understanding, if I'm honest, of things like the caster. I haven't got the camber sorted yet. I'm just trying to work that out, but it is what it is on the car. Tyres are prepared. They're the same tyres. They've been used quite a lot. I think they kind of wear, the way I drive at the moment, it's pretty just under a mil a time I use them with tyre softener. So they're probably going to be pretty much on their last legs in the next club meeting. But anyway, I hope you join me in my ventures in my club meeting. If it resonates with anyone else that's newly started, then hopefully you'll learn something out of what I do. Maybe there's other people who can tell me some bits and pieces. I get lots of advice of various people who watch my videos, and I'm really grateful for that because they race and have had the same experiences. Maybe they've moved on and learnt something else, and it's really good that a couple of you on there that regularly watch these series of videos and give your feedback. It is very much appreciated. So thank you very much. So without further ado, and me waffling on about nothing, I'll hand over to me again for preparing the car for what is my round 2 at Wycombe Radio Control Car Club. Enjoy. Start this repair. I won't show you all of it because it's pointless, but I'll tell you what I've done. So we've turned the tyres down again, cleaned them up a little bit. That's the rear. I've done a bit on the front. Yeah, I know, change them for what they cost, but yeah, I'm a sucker for trying to get most out of them. Anyway, I re-measured them and trued them. Front one's 40.26, that's both sides. Rear 40.45. So they're a little more accurate. Clearly the ride height will definitely change, which I'll need to do. We've got this kind of metal stuff here as well, which is just body repair, which is what I've done. On there, that one, it's quite patched up in there anyway from before, and I've done the back parts now. So they are a bit more secure there, so that's fine for now. I'm still using the same shell. So yeah, it's all good. I suppose the next thing
which I won't show you it, but I've got to take the front off completely. Carbon fibre front brace, because these are going through, there's no O-rings on them. I've ordered none of these inserts, O-rings. I think that's what I've ordered actually. But I'm going to actually take the front apart now. That's the sort of the camber brace, the springs, wipe it all down. You've got these side sort of tensioners here, 3mm. I'll undo the fronts, this will come off. I'm going to super glue these in, as I was told by a fellow racer who used Schumacher, so I'll do that. I've got some super glue, doesn't matter which one I use, I'll be honest with you. I don't know why I'm showing you super glue, but anyway, I've got others up there. We're going to, a tiny bit of super glue need on these, it stops the fronts coming out. So apparently it seems to be a common problem according to him. The way it was answered was like, oh yeah, just put a small dab of super glue on them, it doesn't need a lot, he said. Yeah, I'm going to take the underneath there is my right height shims, so they'll come out. I won't need them because the tyres are much smaller diameter, and these rear axle hangers, I'll look in the book, it will tell me what axle hanger to put on based on these measurements of my tyres. So like I said, I'm not going to film me doing this, it's just a bit of maintenance, but I have ordered spares because it's not that expensive. Yeah, what else? I'll clean the bearings, got the bearings out of the wheels and tyres, they're here, so I'll clean those as well. They don't look dirty, but we'll show willing with our bearing cleaner. Maybe then put some bearing oil, why not? That's it really. I'll crack on with that. Done, well, not all done, but nearly done. Seems I've got the car right height back, sort of like 3.2, 3, 3 and 3. Tyres are all the right size, 4.26, 40.26, 40.45, 3 degrees caster, that's the 0 spacers, it's already got caster on it. 3 droop spacers, front oil 15k, and the rear right height spacers 1mm. It seems to have put it back to sort of a good start setting, if I'm honest. I'll leave the side springs in, change the oil in this middle damper. I'm not sure what to put in it yet. I'll check the tweak. I'll do that in a minute myself. I don't need to film that. Check the droop. I'll do that in a minute and write that down. I think maybe on the setup station I'll have to do the front. Just to make sure it's got enough steering. We're pretty much ready for, it's not yet, it's not this week, it's next week. Got over a week yet. And I'll do a closing with other bits and pieces that I haven't done at this point, like the droop at the back, the tweak station, and the setup station. Yeah, 26 degrees in here today. Pretty warm, if I'm honest. Right, I'll carry on. Tweak station seems alright. That's what I use with that. That seems alright. 4.8, 5.2 is slightly. I've changed the springs, adjusted these. I mean, not changed them, adjusted them. Yeah. Just the steering to do now, and I won't do that yet. These have been used 3 times. I don't know if I said that. These have been used 4 times currently. So when I race next, 4, 5. We'll see. Probably stick some O-rings on these two when they turn up. Just about get to that one, maybe. That might be quite tricky with the steering arm on, but that one will be alright. Bit of status quo, to be honest. The next one. Oh, the droop, rear droop, 1.2 mil. That was how I said it last time. So that's. I've just tightened that cap down a little bit so it's not rattling. The rear spring was loose. It's not now. Right. So just to recap, this has all been done setup wise now. I can't remember what I said. This is a different day now. I'm just trying to look. Yeah, I've done the tyres. They've been turned down, as I've said. So this is going to be a little bit of the end part of the video. The ride heights worked out really well, if I'm honest. Sort of 3 mil ish. So I understood how the caster works on the front. I'm still waiting for a few parts. I've put the front dampers slightly thicker oil. Haven't done the other dampers yet. The side and the centre damper, so the front with the springs. That's done. I've ordered a few other bits and pieces for it, just for spares, which, you know, what I have realised, well, I haven't realised, it's just through reading things on Schumacher's website. When it comes to titanium screws, what you should really do is the bottom need to be standard, just a standard steel, hard steel screw, countersunk, and you put the titanium button heads on top. So apparently the weights, you know, at the bottom of the car is heavier, the top of the car is a bit, what did I just say then? The bottom of the car is heavier and the top part should be a bit lighter, because there is a bit of a saving. Whether it makes any difference, probably not. So this has all been sorted out. I have got to get rid of this rubber. That's all the rubber is running too low. I think you can see that. I showed you it last time. And I have glued right at the edges here. There's a thing about gluing. A big long conversation that Mark Stiles was having. I say long, it wasn't that long, but more in depth than it makes sense, and it's obvious now you've heard it. But before that, one of the main things is when you put glue on the edges of the front tyres and the backs. I haven't done the backs. Stops the chunking. So it stops you. I've got chunking on the tyres. You know, where I hit things. Blah blah blah. But if you put super glue around there, it stops that. It also can make the car push, which is what I was suffering on the first meeting, even the tune and test and tune day. On the second meeting I didn't super glue them and it was turning in like loads. In the meantime, the carbon fibre front brace, the bottom one, had come out, so it was like running a shit ton of caster, which is what I didn't want. So there was a lot of other added bonus things there, but anyway, nevertheless it is interesting. Well, I find it interesting as I'm fiddling around with this repair. This repair's not particularly great because it keeps coming off, but at least it holds it kind of in place. It's a bit stiffer there now. Right, I think that's about it. This video will just roll into the next club meeting. So I think, out of curiosity for this video, corner weight scales, which I've had, maybe we should set them up on here and just see what it reads, if anything. I'm not going to change anything, but it will make more of a difference to know what it's doing on the track. Maybe it will correlate to this, maybe it won't, maybe it doesn't matter. Do people use them? Who knows? If they do, I haven't seen them use them. If they don't, there's probably a reason. So let me just set this up. Okay, I've got the scales set up. Can't really see them because I've got the car right there, but let's put the car on the scales. Now it should just sit there. I think for now. Right, so I don't know. I don't know. It's reading a bit weird. Let me just. I have to move these pads a minute. I know I shouldn't have done that, but right. So first off is the overall weight. 700. It's got a battery in it and the shell and everything. 763.7 grams. Well, I can take one thing out of it. Its overall weight, 763.7. What was it? 730. Is there some 30 grams over? So that's quite a lot. That's probably all in the shell. Percentage-wise, 46% front weight, 54 back weight. That stands to reason because the battery's sort of there, isn't it? Motor, axle, gears. Got a lightweight servo, speed controller. There's nothing on the front. That sort of stands to reason. The one that's actually not reading right is this rear. Now, why is that? There's a lot more weight on this rear. So that one there's 179.2. That's the right front. There's a lot of weight on there. 175.5 left front. That's in grams, by the way. So there's a lot of weight this side. 181.6, and then this one 227.5. I don't know why that is. So that means, according to this, 53% of the weight's over this side, and 47 on this side, which kind of Well, it shouldn't correlate, but when I did the tweak station, that was 52 millimeters. This was 48. I don't know if it should correlate with them. 53% and 47%. Who knows? Front weight. So it's still got more rear weight as expected. What? What have I concluded? I think what I will do is I will write it down, because I think it might help with if I do change anything or move anything around in the car. So let me just write that down. So there's my findings. You can pause the video there if you want to have a look. It is fairly equal in percentage. It's sort of to the back and over to the right. So as the track goes clockwise, right hand turns seem better than left. That kind of reflects this a little bit. I think I'll leave it at that, because at least I've got something that I can go back to, which is why I'm hoping that improvements are being made, because I'm not fiddling around with stuff. This is just knowledge. Is it pointless knowledge? Don't know. What would I do to change it if I could change it? Well, you can move the battery back and forth in there. So the battery position is where it was. I think it's, I can't remember now without looking, but wherever it was last video, but you can move that. That will change it drastically. You can offset the axle. You can put weights in the car, like I think you can, some like strategically placed lead weight, the small ones. But this is quite a heavy body shell, because it's got crap all over it to stop it falling apart. Eventually I will get the lightweight shell on, and when I'm not hitting stuff, if I'm honest, and then we can get it weighed again. Hopefully we got to find, you know, it's 30 grams overweight. A lot of that's in this shell, I think. Yeah, so it's a good base. It's good, something to start with. I don't know if other people do it, and if they do it, is it pointless doing it? If they don't do it, is it because it's pointless doing it? I don't know. It's the same answer, isn't it? Anyway, so the only thing I've got to do is put it on the setup station for the turning, which I'll check, because it's on storage charge, this battery, so there's nothing in it to turn the servo, and then it'll be on the track. So I'm not going to film that bit, but I'll catch up with you on the next club round, which will be part of this video. So I'll see you shortly.
So here's a little bit of a voiceover. So this first part here was just, you know, you sort of warm up the tyres a little bit, and you know, I hadn't been round this configuration of track. Lots of the drivers go out and practice. You know, I'll be honest with you, I don't think that's really worth me doing, because it might sound weird because I need the practice. But you know, to go out there with the minis and other classes, it kind of throws me a little bit. I'd rather go out there with like-minded cars. At least you know they're going to do certain lines certain ways, and I just find it easier. So we're taking it easy. You know, I'm not doing anything here, to be honest, as we head off into the first heat. So we start off fairly steady. What I realised that on this particular heat, the car really did turn in well. So it's a combination of, are the tyres wearing out? Are they too worn? I did also find that making sure that you don't overdrive, and it sounds obvious, but you know, I found Now, I could gauge myself here because there's another car out there. The car that's behind me is a GT12. In retrospect, you should be miles quicker. And there were points when I was, especially on the straight. But end of the day, I was in a very similar pace as that GT12. So it was a really good gauge for how well I was doing. I made a lot of mistakes, and so did they. So the skill level of the driver is fairly similar. But we can see we're going around. I'm trying not to hit things. I pride myself on not banging into anything and keeping out of the way of the other drivers. You know, that's my style. And I think if I can go around without smacking the barriers like that, I feel that I would improve greatly. The car did get worse turning as this race went on. So tyres wearing. See, look there, look, and then whack. You know what? That corner there, I found quite difficult. I think I was overdriving it. Where I'm going wide, I'm missing apexes. I'm not trying to be a professional race driver. So yeah, we got a lot to learn there. So I'll put the speeds and things up, the laps and that now. So 41 laps, my best 10.88, and my best lap was 10.47. So still nowhere near even B finalists as we go on to the next qualifying, which will be qualifying 2. But keep an eye on those times there. It's quite interesting. So let's get on to qualifying 2. On to qualifying 2. So I didn't change a huge amount. I didn't charge the battery. I had green grip all round this time. I did the same as I did in qualifying 2. So the rears were fully sort of submerged in grip. And for the fronts, I think I did, I'm just looking now, about half the front tyre full on the back. That was with blue grip on the first race, so it gripped quite well. This qualifying race here was on green, which maybe didn't work as much. Maybe it's not supposed to. But we're getting gradually better and better. It's still a lot to learn. I'm sort of a little bit wary of when I get the cars going past me. But we'll carry. There's not really else much to see there other than the car getting in the way or me hitting barriers. But I am trying to be consistent. So what I'll do now is I'll just put the results up again on screen. So round 2, it was listed under GT12 for some reason. I don't know why, but there was more LMP. There was only one GT12 out there, which was Choco. Again, I'm up my limit in 8 minutes. 41 laps. Slightly quicker. 10.58 best 10. 10.34. There's not much in it, so it's pretty much the same. So I found the car not turning in as well. It had less grip. Combination of perhaps the green tyre grip. Maybe I didn't put it on properly. Maybe the tyres are wearing. So it had more push. Again, like I say, 41 laps and 10.34. Just to clarify, because it's not on there, my first fastest on my qualifying 1, 10.47. So there's hardly anything in it. So, yep, let's nip on now to qualifying 3. So we go, just the start, a big schmozzle there. Probably my fault. And again, I'm trying not to hit things, God. But for this is qualifying 3. So I put 20k weight oil in the centre damper to try and stop the car. I don't know, trying to arrest the sort of the movement on the, what is that, the centre damper. It sort of, the pod goes forward, doesn't it? And that acts as, I'm trying to think of the word, is it when the pod goes forward or back? There's a word. I've mentioned it before, but I was trying to arrest that a little bit. I don't know if it made a lot of difference. Blue grip on the rear tyres again, full, and I did 3/4 on the front. I didn't get a chance to fully charge the battery. It almost went into low voltage cutoff. When I put it onto my charger, it came up. It was actually 3.7, so it was below what the cutoff. Well, is it? I don't know. I've said it actually, but it's below storage charge, which probably won't do the battery any good, will it? I don't know. If you know, let me know on that one. What should I be doing on the battery there? So yeah, I felt the car. I was getting better. You can see that I'm a bit more. I'm probably going to hit something in a minute, but a bit more planted. I'm not doing apexes. They're all over the place. I'm not going to dispute that, but you'll notice it's close, isn't it? That I'm not hitting as much. I better end that bit there. Oh, there you go. Bang! As soon as I said it, but I'm not hitting as much generally. So let me just put the let's put the timing up now again for the qualifying 3. So yeah, best 10 was 10:70. My lap time is going down, 10:13. It's still not. It's more GT12 pace, and way off the other LMP12s. The thing is, I can see clearly. I'm not going to sing. I can see clearly where I'm losing. I can feel that when I'm driving. I know. It's definitely in the corners and the way the application of my throttle. Even with the bad lines, I still think I could knock a good second off that. So on this layout anyway, mid 9s consistently. I'm still going to be a second off the other drivers on there. I need to get low 9s or high 8s. Probably low 9s if I'm honest. So my comparison is, as you can see, Choco, and he's in a GT12. But you know, he's probably. I mean, I am quicker. It's a combination of talent, but we're pretty much the same. I'll be honest with you. It's more to do with the type of car, isn't it? So an LMP12 is going to be quicker than a GT12. So you know, I shouldn't be slower than a GT12 driver. Oh, having said that, some of the brushless minis were lapping quicker than me. So there you go. There's a good comparison there. So that was race 3 or qualifying round 3. Let's go on to the final. So here we are to the final. They'll be lined up on the back straight. So I was second. To be honest, it's because the other guys either didn't last or, you know, they were definitely quicker than me. So I was only there by default, nothing else. So we're waiting for the beeps. I know you can't hear them because I've got my voiceover. And we go off. And watch this. Look, if I just show this bit here, I'm in the lead. I thought I'd milk this one. Don't know why. Yeah, it just goes to show that it doesn't matter who you are, you can capitalise on mistakes. I know it's not a case of I drove well and I'm in the lead. However, you can see, but these guys here that do race at LMP12s, or that they lap a good 2 seconds quicker than me. Was it 8.89? Maybe it was like a second and 3/4. You know, we're splitting hairs. But yeah, I thought I would just make a little bit of a pick me up. You can see there. So there's proof the car did lead. So we carry on. Big crash there. He went out. Was it my fault? I think I was trying to. I don't know. I'm all over the place. I can't even speak quick enough to catch up with my own shitey driving. Look at it. It's everywhere. I think I need to calm down. Calm down. Calm it down, mate. Calm down. There we are. From the hero to absolute zero. I felt I was driving I don't know, just stupid. I've got to get back into a smoother, less erratic driving style. So it just goes to show that drive it harder, you'll get more results. As I said at the beginning of the video, yeah, it might work, but not then. The car did actually handle, overall, it was a bit less responsive on steering, but it did, I feel, turn in. Look at that move. I didn't get round the inside of him. That wasn't me trying to get past him, by the way. That was just me just trying not to hit him. Oh, there, look, what was I doing? I was just all over the place. So, mistakes were made. Errors. There were 2 laps ahead of me, so even... And I don't think there were 2... Were they close to each other? Were they getting really annoyed because they were upsetting their race? I hope not. I do apologise if that was it. It certainly wasn't the intention. But the final, let's go through some bits and pieces. Again, I didn't change anything. I did a charge on the battery. It didn't fully charge it again, but it did it a little bit better. I need to look into that. Yeah, you probably say you have 2 batteries. I have got 2 batteries. I just didn't do them both. Nothing changed in the setup. Same tyres, blue grip, full on the rear, 3/4 on the front. They probably soaked for about... I was soaking them on there before I wiped them off for about... Because it was quite a quick fire. There's another crash. That was probably my fault. It was a quick fire sort of series. I don't know. I think maybe 20 minutes. A 20-minute soak time, and then I wiped it off. I think that's, for the time of that meeting, that was the best that I could do. So I was trying to keep it consistent. I think what we'll do now, let's have a look at the RC results again. And there we go. So that was the end of the B final. As expected, last. But the times are a bit better, look. So 10.07 for me, for the best 10. My best lap was 9.76, so the high 9s. Perhaps a second off the leader, his best lap. Which again goes to show that my best lap wasn't utilised because I was doing rubbish corners and it wasn't consistent. The only bit I felt the car was better at was that inner loop, which I felt I could be on the power more. Which then means if I was more consistent not hitting things, I would be a lot quicker. As in, a lot quicker. I'd be further up the ranking or nearer those guys. So it has opened up my eyes a little bit that I don't need to be driving absolutely stupidly fast for this B final group. I know that can change over time. End of the day, like my best 10.07, even if that was a 9.9, I'm still a second off of that leader, which means I need to be more consistent. So I could drive a little bit slower on some parts of the track and utilise a bit of some of the corners. The bits perhaps I can see right in front of me here where I stand. I always tend to stand on the podium on the far left as far as I can. I don't want people either side of me. So I prefer that there. So it's an interesting result. We did get quicker as the meeting went on. The car didn't change much. I deliberately didn't change too much apart from the centre damper. But yeah, I found that interesting, and I'm pleased with my results there. So as you can see over the course of the action, it is real time of when I'm getting quicker or the mistakes I'm making. So I think what we'll do now is we go on to a very quick, I don't know if it's about 10 minutes or so, maybe a little bit longer, of a closing of my thoughts of after the meeting. Right, so that was interesting. So we did 3 qualifying heats or sessions and a final. I felt, yes, how can I say this? I definitely improved in each session. My fastest lap, I know it's not the end, the fastest lap isn't the best way to go around this, but it's the only way that I can gauge myself because I can relate that to how I think I was driving. So in each session I got faster. where in the final, actually on that track layout, I ducked under 10 seconds, I can't remember, 9.78 or something like that. And ironically, in the final, there was a particular corner in front of me. You see the car there now in the picture that's on the screen here. Well, that's like a, you should watch the video. It sort of turns. It's a right-hander that goes in. It loops around at the top where you see the car and comes out. And then when it comes out, you can actually power around the complex of S's just after this. And I felt that, I wasn't doing that. I couldn't do that, to be honest. Not wasn't. I don't think I could do it. But in the final, for whatever reason, it's probably going to be, rather than setup, it didn't really change anything, driving ability, isn't it? So getting more used to it, more used to the car. I did feel it might have been driving better at the beginning of the session, rather than at the end of the evening. Lots of factors to consider with that, so we'll go through that on my synopsis video, which will follow this one. But yeah, it's certainly an eye-opener, and I'm quite pleased that they're not easy cars to drive. Other drivers make them look really easy. But at the end of the day, we're all there to learn, and I think I'm making small steps in a big hike. That's not even a saying, but it's my saying. What can I go? Where can I go from here? Well, I think the next video, the synopsis video, will go over my findings regarding the car. There's lots of things to go over. Pretty much the same as, very similar to the last race session I was doing, the last club meeting. But because I actually watched the A finalists quite a lot, because we had to marshal. And I actually marshalled in a couple of different places. And what I was looking at, I was listening to their cars. And they are on power a lot earlier. And one thing I did find out, and it's something that, it's one of those weird conversations, well, not weird, it's a conversation you're having, and someone says something that's quite key, but you don't quite grasp it. Mark Stiles, a few sessions ago now, said, he was mentioning how difficult these cars are to drive. I think I mentioned it in another video. You've actually got to drive the car like not overdrive it, but you've got to really hammer the throttle and really push hard. And the problem that holds you back from that is your technique. And when you first drive these cars, you think you don't know what you're doing. I can't even keep up with myself. But after a while, you realise you can actually go on power quite hard, and the car sticks. And I think I'm finding out the driving technique slowly, rather than car setup. I'm trying to keep the car setup fairly standard. Not change too much. That might have to change slightly as I get more into this, but I try to keep it almost not setting it back to like Schumacher standard, which is pretty much what it's at, and then getting used to driving the car without changing springs. I think I might have did I know I did damper oil for the centre damper. I sort of did 20k in the centre damper. I think it says 12 or 15. I can't remember what the actual manual would say, but I did thicker. But everything else, the spring settings and the springs I use are fairly standard, soft to medium, depends on what the manual said. The only thing I did change was the tyre grip, as in Spider Blue is what everyone uses. I have got what did I use on there? Green. I think I got orange as well. I can't remember now, and I know they do green. They could do a mixture of green and blue. They did it at the WRCA national round, because I remember talking to someone about it, and at that time I didn't have a clue what they were talking about. As in, I didn't even know you had to wipe the grip off. Once you put it on the tyre, you've got to let it soak in, then wipe it off. I didn't even know that then. But where and how you apply your grip on the tyres is crucial to getting a good base setup. And the amount of time you leave it on the tyres, I wouldn't say how much you put on it. You don't need to smother them, but you need to put a coating on. Clearly the tyres, even under my driving, do wear down, which is what we'll discuss in the synopsis video. And that won't be a very long video, to be honest. But yeah, lots learned. I'm pleased with how it went. I was, maybe, I don't know, I might not have time, but planning on, I've got a body shell, but I don't really want to do anything with that yet. As the tyres reduce in size, there's clearly a point where they're no good. I think I'm right near that now, and we'll look at that in a minute in the next sort of synopsis. But maybe when you put tyres on at your desired circumference, clearly they work to a point, and then you sort of throw them away, don't you? Where I'm trying to get knowledge by using the tyres until they don't work or they're just not usable, and I don't know if I'm near that. I mean, if I put tyres on it, would it be a lot better? Maybe, but I'm under no illusion that I'm still trying to find things out myself. You can go and ask a driver and say, are my tyres worn out? And obvious on my ones especially, they might say yes, get rid of them. I know that for a fact, mainly because I didn't pick them up, but I saw tyres in a bin at the BRCA a couple of years ago, thrown away, and I was looking at them then thinking they're better than what I've got on my car now, and they weren't as worn as what these ones are. So I think it kind of mimics my real life racing aspirations when it comes to tyres. I do like to get as much out of them as I can. I don't tend to, they're only cheap on this, aren't they? They're compared to a real race tyre and a real car, they're peanuts. But I still don't want just to go willy-nilly keep throwing tyres at it. Not at what I'm doing. I've got too much other learning to do first. So I hope that video made sense, and it didn't go on for too long. And keep an eye out for the synopsis for the close-up of the car for part 2 of this sort of meeting. I haven't quite decided which club meet I'm doing yet. I have sort of got provisions for the next one. It's in 2 weeks, but yeah, we'll have to see. I don't want to commit just yet until I get nearer the time. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe to these videos and hit the notification bell if you feel you're interested in this type of content, and you'll be notified of when the synopsis video, which will be a short sort of overview video of the car, which will follow this one in a couple of days, I should think. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye for now.